"This is perfect," Ivy said in the voice message 2 months ago. "Everyone will think I am happily taken so I can see whoever I want in private. You are like the perfect cover story. But you're not my real boyfriend. So stop asking questions." That voice message just destroyed her entire life. I was supposed to be her fake boyfriend to get her family off her back about being single. What I didn't know was that I was providing cover for her affair with a married father of 2. Reddit. Let me tell you how someone's own words became the smoking gun that exposed everything. But before I tell this story, I want to be clear. This is about recognizing manipulation tactics and red flags in relationships. Some methods I used to uncover the truth were ethically questionable, and I don't recommend them. What I do recommend is trusting your instincts when something feels wrong, setting clear boundaries, and walking away from situations where you are being used. I have known Ivy for about 2 years through mutual friends. We have always gotten along well. She is smart, funny, and honestly, I have had a bit of a crush on her since we met. Nothing serious. Just one of those background attractions you don't really act on because the timing never seemed right. Last month, she approached me with what she called a mutually beneficial arrangement. Her exact words were, "Lucas, I need a favor. How would you feel about being my fake boyfriend on social media?" I was confused. So she explained. "My family and some friends have been constantly asking why I am still single, setting me up with random guys, the whole thing. It is exhausting. If we just post some couple photos and act like we are together online, it would get everyone off my back." She said it would be purely for appearances. We would take some photos together, post the occasional cute couple story, maybe attend a few social events as each other's +1. Nothing physical, nothing real, just enough to create the illusion that we were dating. "Think of it like acting for a very specific audience," she said. "We maintain the facade for maybe 6 months. Then we can have a quiet breakup, and everyone will leave me alone for a while." Here is where I probably made my first mistake. I said yes immediately. Part of it was because I genuinely wanted to help her out. She seemed really stressed about the family pressure, and I know how annoying it can be when everyone thinks they know what is best for your love life. But if I am being completely honest, part of me thought this might be a way to get closer to her. Maybe if we spent more time together, even in a fake capacity, something real could develop. So for the past month, we have been the picture-perfect couple on Instagram and Facebook. Dinner photos, hiking pictures, cute selfies with captions like "lucky to have this one" and "date night with my favorite person." Her family loves me. Her friends think we are adorable together. And honestly, we do look happy in all the photos. The problem is, I am starting to realize how one-sided this arrangement really is. When we are alone together planning our next couple post or taking photos, Ivy is completely business, like about it. She will pose for selfies with me. But the moment we are done, she steps away and goes back to treating me like any other friend. Remember, this is just for show. She reminded me last week when I suggested we grab dinner after one of our photo sessions. I don't want things to get complicated between us, but here is what is really bothering me. She has become incredibly secretive about her actual social life. When I ask what she is doing on weekends, when we are not doing our fake couple activities, she is vague about it. Just hanging out with friends, or running errands, never any specifics. Last weekend, I saw her at a restaurant downtown with some guy I would never met before. She was laughing, touching his arm, looking completely comfortable and natural in a way she never does with me, even during our staged couple moments. When I asked her about it later, she said he was just a friend from work and seemed annoyed that I would brought it up. "We are not actually dating, Lucas," she said. "You don't need to keep track of who I spend time with. But if that is true, why does she need our fake relationship at all? If she is genuinely single and just wants people to stop bothering her about it, why is she secretly spending time with other guys while publicly dating me? I am starting to think there is more to this story than she is telling me. Maybe she is actually seeing someone and using our fake relationship as a cover for some reason. Maybe the guy is inappropriate in some way, married, her boss, someone her family wouldn't approve of, and she needs our relationship as a smokescreen. Or maybe I am just overthinking this because I caught feelings for someone who was always clear that this wasn't real. Either way, I am feeling used and confused. We have a family barbecue to attend together this weekend. Her cousin's birthday, and I am supposed to play the devoted boyfriend role, but I am not sure I can keep this up much longer. Reddit. What do you think is really going on here? Am I being naive about her motives? Or am I letting my feelings cloud my judgment? Edit. Thanks for all the responses so far. A lot of you are asking why I agreed to this in the first place. Honestly, it seemed harmless at the time, and I thought it might lead to something real. I see now that was probably wishful thinking. Edit 2. Someone asked if I have tried just asking her directly what is going on. I have, but she always deflects or gets defensive. Says I am reading too much into things and that our arrangement is exactly what she said it was. Edit 3. To those telling me to end this arrangement, you are probably right. I just don't know how to do it without making things weird between us and our friend group. But I am starting to feel like a prop in her life rather than a person. Update 1 after my last post. Several of you suggested I needed to find out what Ivy was really up to. Some said to confront her directly. Others suggested I should just end the arrangement. But a few of you recommended that I gather more information first before making any decisions. I decided to do some discreet investigating, and what I found has completely changed how I see this whole situation. First, let me address the barbecue I mentioned in my original post. It was a disaster, but not for the reasons I expected. Ivy and I showed up together, played our roles perfectly. Her family was delighted to see us, asking about wedding plans and when we might move in together. I felt sick pretending to be excited about a future that didn't exist, but Ivy handled it all effortlessly. But here is where it got weird. She kept checking her phone throughout the entire event, not just casual glances, but full-on texting conversations. When her aunt asked her about it, she said she was coordinating with work about a project deadline. During dinner, she excused herself to take a work call that lasted 20 minutes. I could see her through the window, and she was clearly having an animated, personal conversation with someone. She was smiling and laughing in a way she never does with me, even during our most convincing fake moments. When she came back, I asked if everything was okay with work. She said it was fine and changed the subject immediately. The breakthrough came by complete accident. I was having dinner with my cousin at Romano's downtown when I spotted Ivy at a corner table. She was with the same guy from before, but this time I got a clear view of their interaction. They were holding hands across the table, sharing food, and at one point he leaned over and kissed her. Not a friendly peck, but a real intimate kiss that she responded to enthusiastically. I felt like I had been punched in the stomach. I quickly paid my bill and left before they could see me, but I couldn't unsee what I had witnessed. I left and spent the next few days trying to process what I had seen. Ivy was definitely in a relationship with this guy, had probably been in a relationship with him the entire time we had been doing our fake social media thing. But why the secrecy? Why the elaborate fake boyfriend charade if she was happily dating someone? I did some social media detective work. The guy's name is Ryan Carter. I found him through mutual connections and by cross-referencing people who had liked or commented on Ivy's photos from before our fake relationship started. Here is where it gets interesting. Ryan is married, not recently married, not separated. Not it is complicated. He has been married for 5 years to a woman named Jennifer, and they have 2 young kids together. His Facebook is full of family photos. His Instagram shows regular date nights with his wife, and his LinkedIn lists him as living in the suburbs with his family. Ivy is having an affair with a married father of 2, and she is using our fake relationship to provide cover for it. I confronted her yesterday, showed up at her apartment, unannounced, and told her I knew about Ryan. Her reaction confirmed everything. She didn't deny it, didn't try to explain it away, didn't even seem surprised that I had figured it out. Instead, she got angry at me for spying on her. What I do in my personal life is none of your business, she said. Our arrangement is about social media, nothing more. You are not my actual boyfriend, Lucas, so you don't get to have opinions about my dating life. I told her I wasn't comfortable helping her cover up an affair. It is not an affair, she insisted. Ryan and his wife have problems. They are basically roommates at this point. He is planning to leave her once the kids are older, the classic cheater's excuse. I asked her why she needed our fake relationship if Ryan was planning to leave his wife anyway. Because it is complicated, she said. He cannot be seen with me publicly right now because of the divorce proceedings. Having you as a cover story protects both of us until everything gets sorted out. There are no divorce proceedings. I checked public records after our conversation, Ryan hasn't filed anything, and there is no indication his marriage is in trouble beyond what Ivy wants to believe. I told her I was done with our arrangement, effective immediately. You cannot just quit, she said. We had an agreement. My family thinks we are serious now. If you suddenly disappear, it is going to create a lot of questions and drama. I told her that was her problem to figure out. Fine, she said, but don't expect to stay friends after this. If you are going to be judgmental about my personal choices, then we don't have anything to talk about. So now I am out of her fake relationship, but I am also apparently out of her friendship, and possibly out of our mutual friend group, depending on how she decides to spin this. Part of me feels bad for Ryan's wife, but I don't know her, and I am not sure it is my place to get involved in someone else's marriage. Part of me feels stupid for ever agreeing to this arrangement in the first place, but mostly, I am relieved to be done with the whole thing. Edit. A lot of people are asking if I am going to tell Ryan's wife. I have thought about it, but I don't know her at all, and I am worried about making a bad situation worse without knowing all the details. Edit 2. To those asking how our mutual friends are reacting, they don't know the full story yet. As far as they know, Ivy and I just broke up. I haven't decided whether to tell them the truth about what was really going on. Edit 3. Several people have pointed out that I was essentially helping someone commit adultery, even if I didn't know it at the time. You are right, and I feel terrible about it. I should have asked more questions before agreeing to this. Update to Reddit. This situation has spiraled completely out of control. Ivy has gone nuclear, and I am realizing just how manipulative and vindictive she really is. But I also have ammunition now that I didn't have before. After I ended our fake relationship, I expected things to be awkward, but assumed we would both move on with our lives. Instead, Ivy has launched what can only be described as a character assassination campaign against me. It started with our mutual friends. Within a week of our breakup, I started getting texts and calls from people asking what I had done to hurt Ivy so badly. Apparently, she was telling everyone that I would become obsessed and possessive during our relationship, and that she had had to break up with me for her own safety. She claimed I had been stalking her and showing up unannounced to confront her about imaginary other men. She said I was unable to handle that she had a life outside of our relationship and had become increasingly controlling and paranoid. The most damaging part was her claim that I had threatened to ruin her reputation when she tried to break up with me. Several friends reached out to warn me that Ivy was concerned about her safety and that I should give her space to heal. I was stunned. She had taken the truth, that I had discovered her affair and confronted her about it, and twisted it into a story where I was the unstable ex who couldn't accept rejection. But it got worse. She started posting cryptic social media messages about toxic relationships and learning to recognize red flags. Nothing that mentioned me by name, but clear enough that our mutual friends would understand who she was talking about. One post read, "Sometimes the people who seem the nicest are actually the most controlling. So grateful to my real friends who helped me see the situation clearly and get out safely." Another, Ladies, trust your instincts. If someone's behavior makes you uncomfortable, don't ignore it just because they are nice. Most of the time. She was painting herself as the victim of an abusive relationship that had never actually existed. The turning point came 2 weeks ago when my friend Derek pulled me aside after a group hangout and said several people were talking about keeping an eye on me around women in our friend group. "I don't want to believe it, man," he said. "But Ivy's been pretty specific about some concerning behavior. She is not the type to lie about stuff like this." That is when I realized I needed to take action to protect myself. I had been documenting everything throughout our fake relationship, screenshots of our text conversations, photos we had taken together, even some voice messages she would send me about our arrangement. I initially kept these just as memories, but now they have become evidence. I spent a weekend organizing everything chronologically and creating a comprehensive timeline. It began with her original request for a fake relationship, complete with screenshots of our texts where she explicitly explained it was just for appearances. This was followed by our ongoing discussions about maintaining the FAAT for her family and friends, including specific strategies for social media posts and public appearances. Additionally, I had preserved numerous text messages where she reminded me repeatedly that this isn't real and warned me not to get attached. The timeline also included screenshots of her being increasingly secretive about her activities, along with messages where she told me I had no right to know about her personal life. Finally, I documented our confrontation where she openly admitted to seeing Ryan and justified it by saying we weren't really dating anyway. But the most damaging evidence came from something I had forgotten about. Ivy had sent me several voice messages early in our arrangement where she talked about her strategy. In one message, she explicitly says, "This is perfect because everyone will think I am happily taken, so they will stop trying to set me up with people. Meanwhile, I can see whoever I want in private, and no one will question why I am not interested in dating." In another, "The best part is that you are such a nice guy. Everyone will assume I am in a stable, healthy relationship. It is like the perfect cover story." And then there is this one, which she sent after we had been fake dating for about 3 weeks. "Ryan thinks it is so clever how I have handled this whole situation. He was worried about people getting suspicious about why I am never available for group stuff. But having you as my boyfriend explains everything perfectly." She would essentially confessed, in her own voice, to using our fake relationship as cover for her affair. I made copies of everything, and then decided it was time to tell our friends the truth. I started with Derek since he had been the one to warn me about the rumors. I showed him everything: the text messages, the timeline, the voice recordings. His reaction was immediate. "Holy shit. Lucas. She has been lying to all of us." Derek helped me reach out to our closest mutual friends and shared the evidence. The response was swift and decisive. Within 2 days, Ivy's entire narrative crumbled. People started asking her direct questions about inconsistencies in her story. When confronted with the evidence, she couldn't maintain her victim act. But instead of apologizing or trying to make things right, she doubled down. She claimed the voice messages were taken out of context, and that I had manipulated her into saying those things. She posted on social media about people who violate your privacy and share private conversations and learning who your real friends are during difficult times. Several people called her out directly in the comments, sharing screenshots of my evidence. Her own posts became the venue for people to discuss her lies and manipulation. The final nail in the coffin came when someone in our friend group who knew Ryan's wife decided to reach out to her. I didn't ask them to do this, but apparently they felt she deserved to know. Jennifer, Ryan's wife, confronted Ryan with everything. He admitted to the affair, and she kicked him out. Ryan, in turn, completely cut contact with Ivy. So now Ivy has lost her affair partner, her fake boyfriend, most of her friend group, and her reputation. She has been texting me non-stop for the past week, alternating between begging for forgiveness and threatening to make me pay for ruining her life. I have blocked her number and all her social media accounts. Edit. For those asking if I feel bad about the fallout, I feel bad for Jennifer and her kids, who didn't deserve any of this. I don't feel bad for Ivy or Ryan. Edit 2. Several people are asking about the legal implications of recording Faye sharing the voice messages. I checked with a lawyer friend since Ivy sent them to me voluntarily via text. I am legally allowed to share them. She wasn't secretly recorded. Edit 3. To those asking what I learned from this, mainly that I should trust my instincts earlier and not let the hope for something real cloud my judgment about someone's character. Final update Reddit. It is time to close the book on this insane chapter of my life. Thanks to everyone who supported me and helped me see this situation clearly. Your advice probably saved me from much worse consequences down the line. It has been about 6 weeks since my last update, and I wanted to give you all a final resolution on how everything turned out. First, the immediate aftermath of Ivy's social media meltdown. She completely destroyed any remaining credibility she had by continuing to post increasingly unhinged content about betrayal and people who weaponize private information. The problem was that everyone in our friend circle had already seen my evidence. When someone posts voice messages of themselves openly discussing their manipulation tactics, it is pretty hard to claim they are the victim. Her posts became increasingly desperate and contradictory. One day she was claiming I had forced her into the fake relationship. The next she was saying I would become obsessed and wouldn't let her end it. People started screenshotting her inconsistencies and sharing them privately. The turning point came when she made a post claiming that she would never actually been in a relationship with Ryan, and that I had made up the entire affair story to get revenge. That is when Jennifer, Ryan's wife, commented directly on Ivy's post. My husband admitted everything to me, and our marriage counselor. Stop lying. Ivy deleted her entire Instagram account within an hour. Since then, she has essentially disappeared from our social circle entirely. She stopped showing up to group events, stopped responding to invitations, and according to mutual friends, has been telling people she is taking a break from drama and focusing on her career. Ryan, meanwhile, is apparently trying to salvage his marriage. Jennifer posted on Facebook asking for privacy during a difficult time for their family, so I assume they are in counseling or working things out somehow. I genuinely hope they can make it work for their kids' sake. As for the friend group dynamics, things have actually improved significantly. Several people have reached out to apologize for initially believing Ivy's version of events without asking for my side of the story. Derek told me that the whole situation was a wake-up call for everyone about how easily someone can manipulate a narrative if you don't ask questions. She was always kind of dramatic, another friend said, but we never realized she was actually dishonest. You dodging this bullet probably saved all of us from dealing with her manipulation eventually. The most interesting development was learning how many people had their own concerns about Ivy that they had never shared. Multiple friends came forward with stories about times she had been deceptive or manipulative in smaller ways, lying about why she couldn't attend events, making up stories about her work or family to get sympathy, playing people against each other. Apparently, I wasn't her first fake boyfriend. She had done something similar with another guy about 3 years ago, though it was less elaborate and didn't end as dramatically. She has a pattern, one of her former close friends told me. She finds nice guys who will go along with whatever she wants and uses them for whatever she needs at the time. You are just the first one who actually called her out on it publicly. I am dating someone new now. Someone I met through completely normal circumstances who doesn't need me to pretend to be anything other than who I am. It is amazing how simple and straightforward a healthy relationship feels after months of navigating Ivy's mind games. The contrast is stark. With my current girlfriend, I never have to wonder what she is really thinking or whether she is telling me the truth. She introduces me to her friends and family, includes me in her real life, and doesn't treat our relationship like a strategic game. Most importantly, I have learned to value myself enough to walk away from situations where I am being used or taken advantage of, regardless of how much I might want things to work out. Edit. Thank you to everyone who followed this journey and offered advice along the way. Your perspectives helped me recognize that I wasn't crazy for feeling used and manipulated. Edit 2. For those asking about Ivy's current situation, I genuinely don't know and don't want to know. Complete no contact has been the healthiest choice for everyone involved. Edit 3. Several people have asked if I would ever consider a fake relationship arrangement again. Absolutely not. Real relationships might be more complicated, but they are also infinitely more rewarding than performing a role for someone else's benefit. Thanks again, Reddit. You helped me find my backbone when I needed it most.